Previously we saw that each effect key has a number of modes, by default 8, and that only one mode can be active for a key at any instant. There are various ways to change the mode of a key, but first we must look at a concept called the keyboard grab. Keyboard grab is activated by pressing the K key, and it will attach various keys on the keyboard to the last enabled effect key. For example, if you press Ctrl 1 to switch on the effect key on that key, and then press K, the keyboard is grabbed for the effect key Ctrl 1. If you press Ctrl 2 and K, the keyboard is grabbed for the effect key Ctrl 2. Pressing Ctrl 1 again, followed by K, will not affect the keyboard grab, since the Ctrl key 1 press will disable the effect bound to Ctrl 1, and only enabling an effect counts. If you have the RTE window open, you can also set the keyboard grab by clicking in the checkbox labeled key grab near each effect key. When the keyboard is grabbed for an effect key, the following keys are then bound to that effect key. Ctrl up and Ctrl down adjust the first numerical parameter of that effect. Notice that when keyboard grab is off, these keys adjust the playback rate instead. The M key cycles through effects bound to modes of that key. The T key puts LiVES into text mode. If the effect has a text parameter, all subsequent key presses will go to the first text parameter of that effect. An example of this is the live text effect and live text generator. To leave text mode, press the Tab key. To remove the keyboard grab, you can do any of the following. Press Ctrl 0, all effects off, or press Ctrl backspace, freeze. If the RTE window is open, uncheck the checkbox marked key grab next to the effect key which has the keyboard grab. Above we saw one way of changing the mode of an effect key. First get keyboard grab K and then press M to cycle the mode. Other ways of changing the mode are with the RTE window open, click on Mode Active buttons below each effect key, or via an external control such as OSC, joystick or MIDI control. Just as with rendered effects, we can divide our real-time effects into 3 or more subtypes. The most common subtypes are effect, 1 input 1 output, transition, 2 frames input 1 output, and generator, no video inputs, 1 video output. There are also compositors, multiple frames input, 1 frame output. These are only used in the multi-track window and will be discussed later. With the RTE window open, you can see the type of each effect in the drop-down list, and it is also shown next to the key mode area. Note that the most recent versions of LiVES also have audio effects and audio generators. LiVES can use LADSPAR effects. By default, LiVES has transitions mapped to modes key control 8 and various generators mapped to key control 9. If LiVES is not playing and you press the key combination for a generator, this will initiate playback. A generator is a bit like a clip because you can apply other effects to it. You can also now apply a transition and mix a generator with a video clip. The only thing with real-time generators, when a generator disappears from view, it closes. For example, start up a generator, press Ctrl 0 to ensure there are no transitions active. If you now press Ctrl page up, LiVES will switch to another clip. Because the generator is no longer visible, it will close. Some generators also have audio input. If you play audio, they will vary their pattern of behavior in accordance with the movements of the audio input. Examples of these are the LiVES generator plugins. If there is one or more real-time transitions active, then Control page up and Control page down keys will cycle the background clip. Real-time effects triggered from the keyboard are applied only to the foreground clip. In Clip Editor you can apply any real-time effects to a selection, just as if it were a rendered effect. Simply select the frames you would like to apply the effects to and then click on Effects, apply real-time effects to selection, or press the Ctrl E keys. When the effect is being applied, you can preview what has been done so far by clicking on the preview button. There's also a pause button. If you click this, you can again preview what has been processed, or you can resume processing. In addition, you can choose to keep what has been processed so far and not process any more. Otherwise, simply wait and the effect should be applied to the selected frames. Remember that clips can be undone and redone, but there is only one level of undo per clip in the clip editor. After applying the effects, remember to switch off the real-time effects by pressing Ctrl 0. Otherwise, they will be applied to the selection twice. Once to the actual frames, and then again when you see it as a real-time effect. We just saw a moment ago that one way to adjust parameters for a real-time effect is to grab the keyboard for that effect and then use the Control Up and Control Down keys to adjust the first numeric parameter, or the T key to enter text mode and change the first text parameter. Here we will look a little deeper into real-time effect parameters. One way to see the parameters of an effect is to open the RTE window, activate the effect, and click on the Set Parameters button. This will open up a parameter window, and if the effect has parameters, you will be able to set them here. Another way is to set defaults for the real-time effects. This is done by selecting the menu option VJ Set Real-Time Effect Defaults and selecting the effect, transition or generator from the menu list. Selecting an effect will open them up in the window, and if the effect has parameters, you will be able to adjust them. If you want to keep the settings, select Set as Default. Otherwise, click Cancel. Setting defaults here only lasts for the current live session, so if you want to make these defaults permanent, you will need to select the menu option. Note that if you set per key defaults in the real-time mapping window, the per key defaults override the general defaults which are set here. VJ Save Real-Time Effect Defaults can be used to save the defaults. You can also, as we saw, set default values for a particular instance in the real-time window. Let's see now other VJ keys. Various keys can be used during playback. These keys can be viewed via the menu option VJ Show VJ Keys. Note that many of these keys can be simulated through external controls, OSC, joystick or MIDI controller for example. Control left and control right keys can be used to scratch with video. Control backspace keys can be used to freeze or unfreeze video. Audio will continue playing unless the jack or pulse audio players are being used, and the preference audio follows video rate direction is enabled. Control space keys reverse the playback direction. This also works when video is frozen. When you unfreeze it, it will play in reverse direction. Again, the direction of audio will change if and only if the preference audio follows video rate direction is enabled in preferences. Control up and control down keys adjust the frame rate, unless the keyboard grab is active, as we saw before. Control Enter will return video playback speed to normal. By default, the above keys affect only video, however you can get them to affect audio. Also, as mentioned, by selecting either jack or pulse audio playback and then checking the box. Audio follows video rate direction in preferences playback. Control page up and control page down keys cycle through both directions through clips. This also works when LiVES is not playing, as mentioned before. During playback, these keys will adjust the foreground frame if there are no transitions active, but if there are one or more real-time transitions active, then they will adjust the background frame. By default, the above keys only affect video. However, if we select the preference playback audio follows clip switches, then the audio will follow the clip switches too. The X key pressed during playback will swap foreground and background clips. This only works when there are one or more transitions applied. You may wish to do this sometimes, since real-time effects only apply to the foreground clip, so if you wish to apply the background clip, press the X key first. The N key during playback toggles nervous mode. In nervous mode, the frames to playback will jump around a little. Let's see one more time some keys that we already saw in detail previously. K grab keyboard for last activated effect key. M, cycle effect mode for effect key that has keyboard grab. T, enter text mode for the effect that has key grab. And tab, leave text mode. If you have several clips open, you can mark the position of a clip with the F1 through F11. For example, if you press F1, the current clip is connected with F1. If you then switch to another clip and press F1, LiVES will return to the first clip. All of the keys F1 to F11 can be used to bookmark clips in this way. This works the same whether LiVES is playing or not. If you press the F12 key, all bookmarks will be cleared. Bookmarks only last for the current session of LiVES. In the clip editor, it is possible to record any part of your performance. To initiate recording, press the R key. You can press the key before the beginning playback or at any time during playback. You can end or cancel recording by pressing the R key again or stop playback. You can toggle recording on and off multiple times during playback. If you press R before starting playback, you will see a message in the message area informing you that LiVES is ready to record. If you press R again without playing, you will get a second message informing you that recording was cancelled. In addition to pressing the R key, you can toggle record mode by clicking on the menu option Play, Record Performance. The following types of events are always recorded: frame changes and FPS frames per second changes. Via Tools, Preferences, Recording, you can select whether the following extra types of events are recorded: real-time effects, including parameter changes, clip switches, and audio events. When LiVES is recording, you will see Rec appear before the frame count in the frame counter. Once playback finishes, if anything was recorded, a window will pop up asking you what you want to do with the events that were recorded. There are various options: preview the recording, render the recording to the same clip, render the recording to a new clip, edit these events in the multi-track window, and view the events in the event window. The latter option is mostly for debugging purposes. Should you choose to render the events to a new clip, you will be presented with another window where you can enter the details of the new clip. Here you can choose the frame size, the frame rate, the audio details. At this point you can optionally select a target encoder for the clip. If you choose to do this, LiVES may suggest more optimal values for the frame size, frame rate, and audio values. It is up to you if you wish to accept the suggestions, values, or continue with the values as entered. Note that selecting an encoder here is just for optimization purposes. You are still free to choose any encoder format you like when encoding the clip. During rendering, you can preview what is being rendered, pause the rendering, or cancel. If you pause, you can again preview, resume rendering, or keep what has been rendered so far.